Hi, this video is explaining the 10.4 warm-up that you guys did in class on Wednesday. And these problems were pretty tricky, so I wanted to make sure that I go over them in case you had any questions. So problem number one, we're looking for this question mark angle. So I don't like to say that it's question mark, so let's call it X. Because on the quiz, it's gonna be called X. So the first thing I need to do is if I'm trying to find this arc here, is I'm first going to find this other arc here. So to find this other arc, I'm going to use the fact that this angle opens up to that arc. So because this angle here opens up to this arc here, it's going to be 82 degrees. So that arc is 82 degrees. And now I can also see that this here is a diameter. So if I have a diameter of a circle, I know that VXW, this whole arc here, has to be equal to 180. So X plus 82 equals 180, and X is going to equal 98 degrees. Okay, so that would be this section here. Problem number two is probably the trickiest type of problem that you're going to see in section 10.4. And in this problem, the first thing that you're going to have to do, if you're really not sure what to do, because you have this 100 degrees here, you have 42 degrees here, you're trying to find this angle here, there's a lot going on. So when you're not sure what to do, the first thing that you should do is highlight the angle that you're given. If you highlight the angle that you're given, it'll allow you to figure out some of the arcs that you don't know. So now I have to see, okay, well this angle opens up to LBM. So that means that this arc here, this entire arc from here all the way to here, is going to be 99 times 2. So 99 times 2 is 198. So this whole arc is 198 degrees. Okay, so that's from L all the way to N. Now, this arc here is 42, so I might as well go and try and figure out what then this arc is, even if I'm not sure if it's going to help me. So I know that 198 minus 42 is going to be 156. So that means that this arc here is 156. Okay, so now let's go and highlight what I want to know. So what I want to find is this question mark angle. So now let's highlight that. So if I highlight this question mark angle, I know it's going to open up to MB, this whole thing. So to find MB, I'm first going to have to find ML, right? So if I'm trying to find this angle, I know it's going to open up to this arc here, but we have to find that arc. So how am I going to do that? Well, to find just this piece, just this section here, I'm going to subtract all of my other arcs from 360. So I'm not going to use the 198 because the 198 is all of this. I'm going to say 360 minus 158 minus, or sorry, 156, not 158, minus 42 minus 100. Okay? And that's going to give me 62 degrees. So that means that right here is 62 degrees, this piece, just this arc here. Okay, so now I can figure out that this entire section, this whole section here, is 62 plus 142, which is 104. So if this is 104, then this unknown angle here is going to equal half of this. So 104 divided by 2 is going to be equal to 52 degrees. So this angle here is 52 degrees, okay? And that's, I would say, the trickiest problem that you'll see. Okay, so now moving on to problem number 3, which is on the back of your entrance ticket for section 10.4. So in order to do this problem, I have to know the concept that if I see a diameter, so here's a diameter, I know it's a diameter because it's going through the center of the circle. If I see that diameter, then I know that any triangle that any inscribed triangle that it contains is going to be a right triangle. So that means that angle D has to be a right angle. Okay, so if angle D is a right angle, then I can use trigonometry to solve for x. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to need to figure out an angle. So if this arc is 110, so if this arc here is 110, then that means that this angle is going to be 110 divided by 2. So that angle then is going to be 55 degrees. Okay, and that's because this angle opens up to that arc. So now that I have 55 degrees, I'm going to label my triangle based on that 55 degrees. So 5 centimeters is your opposite side, x is your adjacent side. So if I know my opposite and I want my adjacent, I'm going to use tangent. So you're going to take the tangent of the angle, so tan 55, and set that equal to opposite, which is 5, over x. I'm going to multiply x to the other side. I get x tan 55 is equal to 5. And then x is equal to 5 divided by tangent of 55. That is my exact answer. And then x is going to be approximately 3.5 centimeters. Okay, so for the next problem, we're trying to find this arc here, this x. So in order to find this arc, I need to find this angle measure first. So I'm going to label this angle y, because if I can find this angle, then I can find this arc. So now I'm going to circle angle y, and I'm going to label my triangle based on what I have. I know, again, since this is a diameter, that this would have to be a right angle, so I know for sure that I can use trig. Now, be careful because 5 centimeters here is only the radius. So there's an additional 5 centimeters here because any radius is congruent to any other radius of the same circle. So that means that this entire length is 10. Okay, so now labeling my triangle, I'm going to change colors. 8 is my adjacent side. And this here is my hypotenuse. So if I know A and I know H, then I'm going to use cosine. So to solve for y, I'm going to use inverse cosine. So y is going to be equal to the inverse cosine of adjacent over hypotenuse. So 8 over 10. Okay, and now once I have y, then I can easily solve for x. Because x, in order to get the arc, I just double the angle. Because y is an inscribed angle. So it's going to be 2 times the cosine inverse of 8 over 10. That's your exact answer. And then approximately, you're going to get 73.7 degrees. And that's it for your 10.4 entrance ticket.